Britain's favourite biscuit, 2 rounds of shortbread, stuck together with a splodge of jam.
Winston, come back with those fish and chips.
Great Britain is a nation of tea drinkers, and along with that, we love a biscuit cookie to go with it. Today, I'm going to be making sablé au confiture. That's a French name, right? Of course, it's not called that in the UK. That's its French name. The French have just such the nicest way of naming food products. Sablé au confiture. It sounds good, doesn't it? Nope. This recipe is called the Jammy Dodger. Now that's English. And it dates back to 1966. I know that's not that long ago, but long enough to have a cult following and to become Britain's favourite biscuit cookie. Now, I'd suggest making double the recipe on this, or if you make once the recipe, once you've made them, you hide them away because everybody is going to want one. We start off with some butter, melted butter or at least softened butter, and drop that into the mixer. Then into there we'll add some sugar and an egg. We're going to beat this now until it goes nice and light and creamy. And this recipe you have to make several hours ahead because it needs to set up for a couple of hours in the fridge. Otherwise you just can't roll it out. Once it's all nice and creamy, then we need to scrape the sides down. This is really important so we get everything mixed in together. Next, I'm going to add some extract. Now you can put vanilla in there, but this is a recipe that I made at Buckingham Palace for royal garden parties. And there we used a little of the almond extract. I'm using Nielsen Massey. You can use local produce, whatever you want to from the local store. But I love this one. I love the natural, gorgeous smell, flavor from it. And so I'll put a link to it in the description if you want some. So a splash of that, and then I'm actually going to put some almond flour, ground almonds, in there as well. And then some flour. Carefully stir it all in together. And I'm just going to stir it until it's all combined. Once it's all come together, then a little dusting of flour on the table and we can take out this dough. You can smell that almond, it already smells delicious. I'm going to tip this out onto the table and then just carefully bring it all together. You can see how soft it is. And we just wouldn't be able to roll it out if we tried straight away. So a little more flour, and then I'm going to put it in some parchment paper, some greaseproof paper, fold it over, into the fridge for 2 hours to let it set. You can make this a week or even 10 days ahead and it'll just sit there in the fridge. Bring it out and you can roll this out beautiful into the fridge. Once it's had a chance to set up, then we can roll it out. Open up the paste. You can see it's already set up. Then I'm going to cut the paste in half. And I'm taking this one half, a little dusting of flour, top and bottom, and I'm going to roll it about 1/4 of an inch thick. Now don't worry if it cracks, we can just push all this together. It's because there's so much butter in there. But that's what makes it taste good. See, it looks like a jigsaw puzzle right now, but look, I'm pushing this all together. There's nothing much you can do with this. Once it comes out of the oven, it'll just be perfect. Now, I'm using some round cutters with the flute edges. You can use whatever size or shape cutter you want to, square ones if you want. If you don't have cutters, then you can just, take a knife and cut around the edges and actually cut it into fingers. But I'm going to cut some nice circles like this one. And then they'll go onto a baking sheet. Gather up the paste and roll it out again so we don't have any waste. Once you've done that, I get about 15 bases from this mix. Then I'm going to do the other half just the same. And these are going to be the tops. The Jammy Dodger got its name from a favorite childhood comic of mine called The Beano. Remember The Beano? In The Beano, there was a guy called Roger the Dodger, and he just didn't like doing his homework, he didn't like doing his chores, and he got away with them. So he was dodging them, right? And at the same time, he was jammy. Jammy is a slang for lucky in the UK. So, Jammy Dodger. Once I've got all of my tops done, I'm then going to use a small round cutter to go in the center and cut out a little circle. And this is why I do it on 2 trays, because they'll cook at different times. And don't throw this dough away. Save all this, put it in the refrigerator. You can make some more another day, or you can just roll some more out now. Finish them off. I promise you they'll get eaten. Now they go into the oven 350 degrees for about 10 minutes till they just firm up. The biscuits with the holes in them are going to come out first because they cook quicker. But don't try and lift them off right away. We've got to let them cool down, otherwise they'll just fall apart. After a few minutes, when they've had a chance to harden up, then we can put them onto the cooling rack. Once they've cooled down completely, then I'm going to start inverting the bases, but just the bases. Once they've cooled completely, then we can put a little jam in the center of each one. You can use whatever flavor jam you want in there, but traditionally it's raspberry or strawberry. And then I'm going to bring some of the jam out to the edges so everything's covered, but leave a little bit in the center. Jammy Dodgers were so popular they were even mentioned in Doctor Who. Who? The lids. Now, we've got jam on the bases, right? Don't forget we turned them over. But the lids, we're actually going to now put some powdered sugar, icing sugar. And finally, to make them look pretty, onto the jam. Britain's favourite biscuit, 2 rounds of shortbread, stuck together with a splodge of jam. So if you're doing an afternoon tea party and inviting your friends over, sablé au confiture. But if you just sat there mid-morning with a nice mug of tea, the Jammy Dodgers. Make them at home. See you again soon.